How do you rest with God? How do you find that quiet place? That secret place?
I
feel we can roll with this one, Elsa. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's
Alright,
good
so
one.
okay,
Good vibes.
quick.
I like that.
Cool, so how do you rest with God? How do you find that quiet place? That secret place? So yes, then we just discuss it and hopefully answer whoever it was their question.
How do you find your rest? How do you rest in
How
God?
do you rest with God?
That secret place. I think it's different for everyone.
Cool.
There's not one defined answer.
How
like a
is
personal.
how is it for you?
For me, it's like my quiet time. God would be like. You really want to know?
Yes.
Like my genuine it is listening to music and doing my makeup.
That's good.
Cool.
Because when I'm doing my makeup, I always think of what God's given me on my face, and the Christian music. That's generally what I do.
I love that. That's cool.
Just saying.
And what's it like? Do you find that when you enter that place, put your makeup on, listen to music, do you find what kind of happens?
So I I would tend to sing along with it, you know what I mean? But I literally zone out. It's just my zone out, and all I hear is obviously the Christian music and the Christian words, and that's the point where I actually listen to the Christian words rather than the melody of it. Because a lot of time for Christian music, maybe they're trying to find a harmony to it, or we're practicing it. So I don't necessarily be like, oh my word, that lyric's really, really, really cool. So that's the only time where, because I'm just kind of doing whatever, the only thing I can really concentrate on is actually the music. For me, it'd be listening to the words. That's the most important for me. So.
Cool.
Do you find when you listen to the words and get into that zone, and you said can you zone out? Do you find that rest just happens instantly, or sometimes it's a gradual thing? Or
it's kind of if I know what I'm getting, or it is a lot of the time it's in the morning, and I'm kind of I know I get a bit nervous for the work and stuff like that. So while I'm getting ready, or it can even be when I'm doing my hair or something, I already know where I'm sat in my room. I'm sat on my chair facing the wall, and then I have my phone here, and then I can I know the songs that help me and stuff like that, and I put that on, and it's just kind of I don't know how to explain it. I feel God almost makes the lyrics stand out more than usual, I guess. But yeah, that's my quiet time, and I think it's funny how for that, for example, Lucy might be well, that's not what that wouldn't work for me, you know what I mean? But it's so that's what I mean. I don't think there's one answer.
I think music and makeup is the universal way that you
Shut up,
meet in
Rory.
the
but I think you're right with the whole it's not for everyone, because if these boys were you guys are yeah guys, I want to do my makeup.
Yes,
Don't laugh,
I was
Rory.
joking.
No,
I was
it's
making
good,
a
it's
joke
good,
because
So
guys
true.
some guys don't wear makeup, so it was
Some guys do.
I know some guys
They
do.
really
But
change
it was a
it.
joke about that and
Didn't appreciate
genders
it. Didn't
and-
appreciate it. Didn't appreciate it.
Okay.
Or just don't talk.
No, but I honestly one of I love the first thing you said, because I think that sometimes I think even that's how religion's made, right? We're always trying to find a formula to do something. Okay, tell me the ingredients of how you rest with God. Tell me, and then I'll do it. Or even sometimes we want the formula to stuff, but I think you just put it straight there. With resting in God, it's unique to you in your personal relationship with God. And actually it's quite cool because it will be so different. I can imagine. I love hearing, I think for me, I love hearing, I'm I want to, because sometimes I think it's still an invitation, even for someone I could try that. I wonder if that's but then equally, obviously, as you say, some of the guys be yeah, I'm not going to do putting the makeup on, but it might be something else, put the gel,
Not all boys put gel in their hair.
no. Karen, do you put gel in your hair?
I tried
Tell me
to
about
put
it.
some wax in to flatten my hair down, so it didn't really work.
What did you do?
What, today?
What did you do with your hair for this interview?
No, yeah, so
complete tangent,
I
but-
put a
We'll bring it
bunch
back.
of wax in it. I would just stay down. I was trying to do Leo in Great Gatsby. But I guess he's like oil or
He's like
whatever.
that
So I was there with like
pomade
VO5,
Oh,
like.
that
And then when I went, because I did it like quite soon before I left, and when I went, I was like early to say that. Look, he keeps time. He knows what's up. But then I had to wait because he didn't come till like 1:30, so I could feel my hair like starting to like respond and rise. Like, I was like, get down.
Rory, how do you rest with God?
Yes, well done. I don't know. I feel at the moment I'm probably not doing it as well as I should because what can I say? Sometimes you're too busy writing a dissertation or something else, and the one way I've been doing it regularly is I've been doing the Bible in 1 year app, which is like Alpha have made, and it does like a psalm or a proverb, part of the New Testament and part of the Old Testament, and you can either read through it all. There's some commentary on each one, or you can listen to it. And so I found that even though there's a danger that you can get in a routine of like, okay, I've just got to do my Bible in 1 year and I'll read through it. And there are some days where it's like that. It's like Ecclesiastes, come on. No, Ecclesiastes is good. It's more like 2 Chronicles, which is like super about like history and things. It's like, okay, this king and this king. But I think it does help kind of at least some level, at least the start of it, like getting me on track for the day. And there are certainly days when it really feels that it kind of like it knows what's going on, and it's kind of like each day has like a heading, and the heading will just like strike you. It's like it's just like God loves you, and it's like, oh, he does. It's all okay. So just something like that, which is maybe a bit more practical. It's not.
It's awesome.
It's not maybe leaving as much space because it's a bit more like just reading the word. But that certainly helps me find rest and there's a bit more quiet time. And it's cool sometimes just rather than reading it, just to, I think it was on Thursday last week, so I'd handed in my dissertation. That was good, and it was kind of sunny outside, and I was like, oh, I've got my Bible in 1 year. And Mum's just bought like weird like chairs which you can like push back, which are just in like the like patio bit. So I was like, yes. So I was like full like sunbathing mode. Had Nikki Gumbo speaking to me, and it was like, this is good. So yeah, so that's really helped me. And I guess kind of just playing guitar or piano. Normally like practicing if it's for worship band, picking songs or something like that, or looking at new songs. But even in that time, just the music, as I also said, the act of actually playing the music as well really helps me. Yeah.
So cool. Do you find that like there is something that, say if like there's a day, the difference between you, like maybe like some days obviously like you're busy or it doesn't happen, to the days that it does happen, like do you find even when you go from that place like you like still feel in that place of rest with God, or do you think I'm quite interested to like
Sure, I think it depends, because a lot of because I think we like judge like how days go just in like earthly things, like how well did I sleep, like what things do I have on in the day and what went on like yesterday and I'm still thinking about, and kind of judge it in that way rather than thinking about giving that time to a relationship with God. I think like the days when you do, I think you notice it much more on the I find for me that I can get like quite caught up in just like what's going on, and I'll like notice like I'll still be like speaking to God, normally whining to God, but not giving as much time and not realizing till like a day or two's gone by, okay, I need to kind of refocus a little bit. I think another thing I was just thinking that I think depending on what season or whatever we're doing, the way we find that quiet place changes, I think, certainly as the years go on.
It's totally true.
It changes the way you act, whether it's just like sitting down in a chair and just being quiet, and which I think I've tried to do. So probably when I was younger, I thought that you had to be quiet, you had to just like sit there with open hands and cross-legged, which it's good as well, but I think certainly it changes a bit over time.
I love that. I was thinking about it because I think you're, because even just going off of that word like changes in different times, I feel like obviously worship to me is always going to be, it's like worship junkie. I'm just like, I love worship. It's always like any chance I can have, I'm like, I just, even just whether it's a song, but and but it is for, I think when I think, okay, rest with God, I think of the season where I'm like, right, if I get up early in the morning, have my coffee, it's almost like a trigger. I'll have that coffee, I put a song on, and I'll be just more of like a listening mode, and but it'd be more like I'll just think, I'll have like a trigger. I'll just be like, I'm here, Dad. God, Dad, like I'm here, and I'll just, it's almost like turning your affection, like almost just kind of turning my attention to God, and I do. Sometimes it'll be like instant. I'll be like, I just feel so restful. But other times I'll like, do you know when you just wake up and you just feel like I dreamt really weird, or you feel like there's so much on your mind and you don't feel peaceful when you wake up, and I hate waking up like that. But sometimes it'll take me a little bit longer, but I'll just try and not look at my phone. Like I'll try and not just go onto like Instagram or whatever. I'll try and like put that aside, like, no, I'm not doing that, doing this first. I think that for me is like that kind of almost like a decision. So for me, like, and rest with God is more like a decision that I make first, and like then obviously sometimes that's easier. One story reminded me of, actually, because like obviously doing trips in Congo and stuff, because that's what I really learned there, that like, okay, peace and rest and God, it's not really an external thing, because I feel like I found places of peace in Congo that I haven't had. Like I'll be more like more, whether it's like not feeling restful in like Scotland, so I've just different things going on, and you're like, I've handled like, probably prideful, like I've handled worse things, like even thinking about my job today, I'm like, why am I getting anxious? Like, and then I remember times in Congo where we've had extreme things, like, the rebels coming, the stuff where you're just like, okay, my life's a little bit in danger, but then find a rest with God. And for me, it's either being like a worship song or like a word, like a prayer, just oh, Father, he's a father, that trigger word. So I think for me, but it was a choice. Okay, like, am I going to believe you, like who you say you are? And then that kind of triggers for me the rest. So I think it is like, okay, a few little ideas, but I think words like the truth. So choosing to believe the truth. Okay, God, like you can, like that he can meet me, he can give me rest. He's got a peace, and then set aside time. Yeah. So I think the two things, like choice, decision, tied to truth, and then like the time. And so I think right now it looks like, obviously you're not in situations where you're like, okay, it's pretty chilled, but I think just that time in the morning is usually where I'm like, find that. But then I do, because I was asking that question because I find my days shifted. Like, see, if I don't have that time, I like rushed out the door, or I've been doing like emails in the morning rather than like having that time, I find like I feel different. I feel like less restful, or other things, I can react differently to things, or I can get worried about something easier than if I've had that time. So it's a bit about me. Looking to you.
To me?
Yeah. I don't want to, like, I feel like I can look to you because you're like, I don't want to put pressure in. So I'm like, I'll put pressure on Grant.
No, I think I'm kind of just similar to what a lot of people have said. I think, I mean, for me, I wish I said I did it every day, but like the Bible in 1 year thing I've found really helpful since like starting it a few years ago, and I get it actually emailed to my work computer. So like I arrive at work and kind of most days I'll get that kind of first coffee, and I think before I kind of try and do anything else, I'll try and read that, like you say, just to sort of kind of get that attention fixed first off in the day, because I think, by trying to start it out that way, I think especially if you're in work mode or you've got kind of things like that sort of happen, I think it can be so easy to kind of get dragged into sort of, I got to call this person, I got to email this, there's stuff I got to do. But I think kind of just putting that attention on God first, I think it just increases your awareness of him throughout the day. So if you're going into a stressful meeting or something like that, you can kind of sort of like, you're more aware of the fact that actually he's with you, and that you've got that Holy Spirit there to give you that wisdom in that, which makes you feel better about it, rather than sort of kind of like, oh, flip, I'm meeting this person today and they're going to be like this. And I think, you get so focused, like Rory was maybe saying, on kind of like tasks and what you've got to do, and maybe get worried or anxious about it. Well, I think actually having that time, I'm going to say, I think I always just find it real helpful, at least even when the busyness of work, I think to sort of put that pause on, to go make myself a coffee and to try and read that there. And then I think again, similar to I think when I started learning guitar and like singing songs and stuff like that, that was a big game changer for me as well, because I think having grown up in church and it was drums that I played, I would be playing every single week in church, but I never had an opportunity to actually sing the songs.
Mm-hmm.
So having a vehicle for that, learning a little bit of guitar, and actually having just times, even just by myself, just even when I couldn't really play, just sort of beginning to sort of kind of sing these songs out, and having those moments, just some very, very special, restful kind of moments. So I think that's for me. Bless you.
It didn't come. It didn't come. And I always feel unsatisfied.
Because everybody's kind of singing in the morning, but mine's at night. Like mine's like at like quite late at night. Like it could be like I'll wake up at 3 o'clock, like 3 in the morning, like not at night, but like do you know what I mean? And I'll do it. But there's a song called Hideaway, and I love it because when they were talking like the secret place, it's like my secret song. If that makes sense, it's amazing because it talks about like how you have that little secret place. And mine's definitely like I get now I should like do it in the morning like that, but mine's definitely at night. Like I literally feel like the world's quiet and no one knows I'm listening to this song and stuff like that. And like on YouTube, I've like started saving some songs that like it's kind of weird because I always think like that's my secret song. Like no one knows like that's my
so
song.
cool.
Well, you know that one, but
Is that written by my good friend Anna Hellenbroth? I think that's my mentor and good friend. I think.
anyway.
You're like, it's my secret song. Okay.
But like that's like
Really
kind of
is.
listen to Hideaway. It's
I'm
really
gonna
nice.
write it down. Well, actually, I don't remember. It's like
Hideaway
talk-
by Worship Central, and it's amazing. And I like to because I plug in my headphones and I just that's all I can think about. And then my time that I feel very like, and it's weird because like, God's protected. Like He's told me that's a safe place and that's a safe time, just to do it at night. Like that's my time definitely. Where I just like snuggle in bed and like, there's nothing. I don't have to think about the morning or I have to do this before anything else. It literally is. There's nothing I can do other than be in my bed, if that makes any sense. So it's my special time and I love it. It's really nice. Just plugging headphones, cozy up with a blanket, and that Hideaway song's the one that I've been listening to like over and over and over. It's really nice.
It's funny. It's funny because it's like there's a verse like about like the something in Proverbs. Okay, don't quote me because we can Google it later, or someone that can ask Jesus if he's smart. But that the morning begins at night, or something like actually the day begins at night. You know what I mean? So actually, it's quite cool that you said that. Actually, that probably affects how your day the next day. And so I didn't know. I think it's what we said. Like it's different for everyone. Actually,
My mind's quite.
you made me want to do it. I'm like, I want a secret song.
Yeah, I have it. I actually have on my phone, and it's a few of them, and it's like, I think to myself, well, no one knows that that's like the song I listen to. Well, one of them, you all know one of them now.
You're like,
But it's kind of that like only me and God know. Like it's like a little like secret that we have, and it's actually really nice. So that's what I kind of do. It's not really in the morning, it's at night.
Yeah.
I'm like an owl.
I mean, it's not quite 3 in the morning, but I know like certainly a lot of like pastors are certainly be getting up at like 4:30 and like 5 to. That's kind of like their time to kind of like really like press in. I mean, I hope they go to bed like earlier as well, so they still get like good sleep.
Yeah.
But like that's what I know. Nicky Gumbel, I keep going on about him, but he's always like walking around like Hyde Park at like 5 in the morning, like look at the sunrise over the bridge, and I'm like, Nicky, I'm in sleep for 6 more hours.
You are jealous of them people, are you? Like, how'd you do it?
No. You're quite a morning person, aren't you?
Yeah, I am quite morning. I do love the morning, but I think if I go to bed late, I can't. I'm not as
Really, really.
But I went to bed 10 o'clock last night. I got up at like 5, and I was like, but then I was like, no, you're meant to be asleep still. So I like slept till 7, but then I have to go to bed early to like. But because I realized that some people are not morning people, because when I lived with like 8 girls in America, I had some people that like. They were like, they had this like presence around them in the morning, like, do not talk to me. And it was like a different person. I'm like, good morning. And they just like look at me and then like look away. And I'm like, we're still friends? Like, did I do something to you? Like, I'm like, definitely not hugs in the morning. No, Rebecca, do not hug them. And don't even say hi to them.
Oh, thanks. That's so
But no,
cute.
I'm going on tangents, but like this,
That's so
it's
cute.
definitely getting up at 5. Rest with God. Who wants more rest with God? like throughout your day? Like, could this be something that we're talking about moments, but could we actually have rest with God?
For sure.
Like, is it a moment or is it a place of being?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is rest with God?
Ooh, yeah.
That wasn't meant to sound.
Next question. What's that? That's nice.
And I think, guess, like, throughout the Bible, like, Jesus clearly had his, like, times of, like, the secret place. Whether it was, I mean, towards the end of his life in the garden before, the old bad time. The old Judas kiss, the old Pilate dodginess, the old swaying of the crowd, the old freeing of Barabbas, the old Hill and the other two criminals. Before all that, he had like the quiet place where his disciples kind of hack and they fell asleep, but he had his quiet place then, and throughout often always seeking like refuge on like mountains and
Away from the crowds.
away from the crowds. So I think it is something that's really important. Is when we find ourselves, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but finding myself like sliding into those bad habits of just kind of ignoring it and kind of just only thinking about God and kind of like meeting with him in terms of, okay, I've got to plan a band for Sunday and I'm kind of just thinking through that, and then lead worship on Sunday, and then like involved with soul or like youth thing at night, and then it's kind of like, okay, I'm fine, I can afford not to think about this till mid next week and focus on the next Sunday. I think that can be a danger, especially when you're serving, that you get into like when's the next time I'm serving, and it's so important to constantly be like reevaluating, and Bex, as you said, like readjusting like where you're aiming, kind of fixing that compass. Boys, you got a secret place.
Setting aside the time, that's the key, as you all have said. Because I'm a night person as well, whether it's during the day or at
both
night.
the owls together.
Probably not an owl, but I go to bed at about 12:1 most nights, and it's trying to prioritize things in life, whether you want to watch Harvey Specter or whether you want to watch what is more important in your life. I mean, I was given this book called Jesus Always by Sarah Young. It's basically goes through every day of the year, 365 devotions basically. So you just, like today, 22nd of August, you read whatever is.
Really cool.
Then it's got verses, whether it's Psalms or Proverbs at the bottom, to relate to what she's written. So it's very helpful, and a lot of peace reading that. So every night before going to bed, whether it's at 12 or 3 in the morning, I try and read that. Although I must admit I've missed quite a few days in a row, but I'm trying to catch up. I got this book Christmas, so from 1st of Jan to it's 365 days basically. So I found that very useful because you go back to your Bible and read the verses that whatever she's written for that day, and you can relate to most of it. Found it very useful.
And it's from a perspective that God's speaking to you, right? So, because I think that is really cool. I love. Have you guys heard of Sarah Young, Jesus Calling? It's like devotion. They've got like loads of different series. It's really good, actually. If anyone's.
But I think it does is something, because it's almost.
I think because we got one. I got one for us.
Yes.
As well.
Because it's almost written from, like God talking to you. So I think it does almost kind of like. I think sometimes when you read the Bible, I think because it's all like third person, it's like God did this, God did that. But I think almost because it flips it, and it's almost like I am this, and this is how I feel about you. And I think just even the use of like I and stuff like that, I think it makes it feel a lot more personal in a lot of ways. So I think just that flip there, I think just kind of it can be quite special,
Yes, because it's like rather than like.
It just
you and God being characters in like a story. It's like God's written like a letter to you.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yeah.
I love that. That's cool, Shab. That's awesome.
Cool.
I have a thing on my phone, and it's like from like actually I think it's the book that you gave my mum. What was that one? It's like the.
It's a different one, I think, but it's like the same lady because she's got loads of different devotions.
I totally saw it. It's awesome. That's so good, by the way.
I'm so glad she. See, this is
so
like.
good. It's so good.
Yes,
And
good.
I did well.
I was nervous. I was like,
No,
hopefully this is good enough.
No, she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
You guys are like, seriously. Why are you nervous?
And my favourite one, and I like took a picture of it because it was just so good. But we're talking like resting, God, stuff like that, and it said, "Come close to me and rest in my presence." It's like really small. Can I read it? It's like really tiny. It's really small. It says, "I am all around you, closer than the very air you breathe. Trust me with each breath you take. Your need for me is as constant as your need for oxygen. So don't neglect the discipline of practicing my presence. Because your mind is easily distracted, you must keep coming back to me again and again. Do not be discouraged by your tendency to wander off in tangents from your true center in me. Simply keep making the needed adjustments to return to me. Make these little corrections joyfully, trusting in my unfailing love. Use my name, Jesus, to reconnect with me. Whisper it, sing it, shout it, remembering what it means. The Lord saves. Embellish my name with the words of love and trust. Trust your heart over a flow with gratitude as you ponder all I am to you, all I have done for you. These practices draw you closer to me and help you rest in my presence. But I think it was quite nice how it says, about like the wandering off, because we're all like saying, oh, we're not constant, stuff like that. But it was like how if you just reconnect with me by even just saying simple as Jesus,
that's cool.
Like I think that's really cool.
It's almost like a trigger word.
It's just a trigger word, yeah.
I love what it said about the little steps as well.
Yeah.
So I just find like I'll be like, okay, I'm so inspired to go back and be really good at this.
Yeah.
And I'm great for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I'm just awful again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so true, like if you do it in little steps, it
corrections,
becomes
yeah.
like habit.
And not being like setting like unrealistic or like not being, as you say, not being hard on yourself. Like God sees the whole picture of our lives, and He's not like. I always think of like even I think because I don't always have my kids and stuff, but even with my like nephews and stuff, like I don't think like wanting to connect with them. I'm always like when I'm especially like even with Annie, because she doesn't know me. That's my youngest niece, doesn't know me as well. So I'll come back being with her and I feel like I'm starting over again. Yeah. And I'm just like, but I'm not analysing like everything. Like she's not like I'm not thinking about what she's not doing. I'm just like so focused on, she looked at me, she smiled at me, and I'm so excited. And I feel like God's like that. He's not thinking, oh well, this is the first time in like 2 weeks that you spent time with me. Now you're coming back to me when you've got a problem. Okay? It's like he's actually like
so sassy.
he's like there she's with me, like, or he's with me. Like I think God's so like not what we think. Like in the sense of like his perspective is like he sees the journey. But obviously he's so desperate for that connection. But yeah, I love it. It's like not being like setting like the small step and not setting like unrealistic goals. You're like, I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. Nikki Gumbel does it, so I'm gonna get up at 4. I'm gonna be better than him. But I think it is celebrating the small steps. I love that you picked up on that.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I'm talking to myself. I'm like, you need to.
It's nice, isn't it?
I love that one.
I'll put it on the group.
I think that's why I like doing it when I do my makeup, because I do it every day. So like if I don't have like my music on and do my makeup, I know that something's so obviously missing. So like even if like
That's so cool.
I don't know, like for me it helps when I do the quiet time with God plus something little, not something big that distracts you from God. But just something like, I don't know, even like making your bed in the morning. You could be praying while you do that, but it's just something you do every single day, so you just get reminded. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
I totally
really
agree.
cool. I love that. That's really good.
What about you, Darren?
Yeah, I'm a email sort of guy in the morning, so I get to my desk and it's there. Just a word for today and like a verse. You just read it, and sometimes you don't read it in the morning because sometimes you're maybe busy, but I don't know if this is right, but I don't think he wants you to read it every day. I think he wants you to have like a special sort of, like you'll know when it's a right sort of because the amount of times I've read an email, well, one of the things I'm like, yeah, that's totally like suits like what's happening just now. Just like little words that you've been thinking about, and then it just comes up right away. And just throughout the day, I'm at a desk 9 till 5, so I've got my music in all day, which is another thing is like you can kind of overdo it listening to like songs. Sometimes I'm just like working away and I'm listening to music just because it keeps me concentrated, but you don't really know what the music's got in it. But then there'll be times where you're like, I know this song's like can get me like calm, and so I'll listen to maybe listen to an album, or it's quite good because you can listen to like a lot of new stuff as well, and like find new sort of like lyrics that are quite good. There's also sometimes I just listen to sermons like at work. I'll just play it and minimise it, and then just because you're listening to new stuff, and if you keep feeding yourself throughout the day, then you kind of react to things a bit differently at work. Because if someone turns around to you and says something, and you're like, well, I've just been listening to like for 40 minutes about how not to react to. So yeah, like resting in God, I think I do need to find more of a quiet time. So I don't really have in the morning. I'm up, out, and then I get home, and then I'm out doing something. So I don't really have a time to sort of. I don't really read books either, so I think that may be something I need to do a bit more, because it's. I think there's plenty of stuff out there that's quite good to listen to. But yeah, I think resting is also like how you react to things throughout the day. Because if you react a bit, well, you need to think before you like react to what happened. I'm not saying someone's always shouting at you every day, but if you speak to someone and say, well, you just speak the right way and you just hold back and just think, it's like, okay, like, and I think that's kind of channeling God at the same time. Because people can get so distracted of like what's going on and just instantly just go and like even like getting involved in gossip and stuff, and it's like you should then every time that happens you always reflect afterwards and you're like, why there was no need for me to say that. And you kind of feel like, oh, right, Spotify, back onto it, refresh it again. Yeah, I think the morning's mainly my thing. But I think maybe I need to do a bit more quiet time. And like, even when I'm praying in the morning and stuff, I'm on the move or something, and or I'm in the car. Like the car's really good for just listening to stuff. Because there's nothing around you and you're in a little bubble, and depends how good at driving you are, because you could be a bit distracted. But yeah, I think just finding just time, because if you like I was saying, if you're praying on the move and stuff, you're not focused on God. I think you need to sit down and sort of totally just fix your eyes on Him. Because if you're like doing stuff and you just don't have like concentration. Yeah, I think I'd say morning's my sort of morning, and then late afternoon, because you've got the time in the middle where you're at work and you're doing other things, and that sort of stuff creeps in. Yeah.
I like that. It's so good then.
Yeah.
You can tell what sort of like how the day's been, depending how much earphones I've got in my ear. If it's 2, it's like I'm listening to God, like I'm blocking everything out. But just 1, it's like, it's fine. Well, I've got some music here and that.
Love that.
Yeah, I think Shahab, what you said about like the time, I think Darren is you as well, like dedicating like the time out rather than just like slotting it in somewhere. Which like it's like common sense. Like if like you want to spend like time with a person, you're like organizing your day around like them. It's like, okay, I'm meeting them at this time, so that time is their time, and then I can put things in like around that. And it should be the same way with God. I mean, it's not with me. I don't know if it is with you guys. It's my day, and then I'll slot it in as best as I can. But it should really be we're striving for It's to be the other way around. And especially I think there's something about trying to fight against like distractions, because I get distracted really easily, and I always feel with my time that I try and I'm like always trying to like multitask and feel like I don't just want to be doing like one thing. Like if I'm playing the PlayStation, I'll also like have like YouTube or a TV show open so that I can like double up. I don't have to spend time just watching the TV show or just playing the PlayStation. I can do both at the same time, so I can be catching up on Suits while playing Crash Bandicoot or whatever I'm playing at the moment. Or I'll be playing and I'll have like a podcast on, or I'll be reading and I'll have a podcast on. I'm always trying to like double up, but then when it comes to God, I find it so difficult to carve out any time. So yeah, it's not like saying that there's going to be like a big change and that tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I'm going to spend an hour and a half with God, and then I'm going to move on the rest of my day and continually be pressing into that. It's trying to make those changes and like gradually getting better at not just fitting God in, but prioritizing that time, even if it's just prioritizing like 5 minutes in the morning.
I think resting, whenever you say resting, it's like calm, but sometimes I'm like singing and like in the car I'm just like going over the song and like singing to the song and stuff. I was like, that's where I kind of relax as well, because I'm like tuned into it, and yeah, like I don't know what happened to me, but I was just on like the Hillsong channel at home, just me in the house, and that Wake song came on, and I've been listening to that song all the time, and it just came on, and I was like, yeah, I was like jumping around the living room and stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. You wake within. Because it was on, I can't remember what day it was. It was like a night time, and I was just away to go out or something, and it came on, and I'm pretty sure I was like chipping golf balls in the living room. And the song came on, and I was just like going like
I think there is like, because I think obviously because like the Holy Spirit, like how he like can breathe, like calm, like in these moments, it's almost like these things are almost like the doorways, the enter points, and like whether it's through like, it feels like a theme of like whether it's through a song or a lyric or the Bible or like, you know, or it's kind of fun because it come like I was singing that verse, can't remember how the exact words, but you know, come those who are heavy laden and weary, I will give you rest for your souls. And it's almost like that turning to him, which can look like so many things, but because like his presence is with us, but obviously for us to turn our attention to him, whether it's through a song, whether it's through an action, makeup, it's almost like we're turning our attention to him, and then we get to almost like receive that presence, and something shifts in us. But I love it because I think that it almost does feel like that is available, whether it's throughout your day, but I love what you're saying, like Darren, it takes you to almost have that moment, no matter if that's 5 minutes or like a longer time, but then you can almost have it. It's like a place of being that you can be in, that restful place, and then you react differently to people, but it almost does take that moment of like, right, I'm going to like turn, you know, take that time to make an appointment rather than like...
I think the people around you help that as well, because definitely, well, when I was up in Shetland a couple of weeks ago, everyone there were like kind of in the same boat, and all day it was just the same, like just God was like in the centre of like every day. You woke up by devotion and then went and taught the kids about Jesus, and then just about like fellowship at night, and it's like it just shows you how easy it is just to like, because then it gets you more like encouraged because you're hearing people speaking about stuff and you're like, oh, I want to know more about that, and you can have discussions right away instead of being sitting there at work and like, I want to know more about this, but I can't turn around to Jimmy next to me and be like, what's your views on eternal life or anything? He's like, I'll just do my work, thanks. You're around like a group of people, but then you go back to work or you go back home, and then it's just like, you just feel like it's just you. I think you need to be more, you could like rest with other people at the same time.
I completely agree, because I think for me, I was thinking about this earlier, because I was like, is this rest or is it not? But actually, like being in community and doing like a intensive Bible study or having intensive discussion for me. I think because it actually makes me stop and focus.
Mm.
I am so bad at it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm so bad at resting generally and with God. So I think I really need people around me to like focus me. Because otherwise, like I'm the same. My rest time is like when I'm going somewhere, when I'm walking somewhere, when I'm traveling, or like occasionally. I mean, I was brought up praying before I went to bed. I try and still do that, but sometimes you're so tired that you get into bed and you're just like out.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Jesus.
sometimes- Sometimes you can-
Yeah, really good tactic if you can't fall asleep is to start praying. And the devil is like, oh, I gotta shut this down. Sorry, Darren.
Well, sometimes if
That's a real
if
thing,
you're
though.
tired,
Is it
I
really?
think. Well, for me, if I'm tired, I'd be like, if I pray, it's just not going to be a very good one. So it's like I'll just save it for the morning. Because I'd be like, thanks for the day, Lord.
Depends if you, unless you're a night owl, then you probably have the better prayers.
No, I don't know. I don't think I'm any. I'm worse for both. Like
He's no owl. He's just a pigeon.
I want to go to bed early and I don't want to wake up. So,
But it was really good. Ian
Community things.
on Sunday was speaking about just Jesus and prayer, and was just talking about like Luke 10 and just the Lord's Prayer, and I did that in like at Holiday Bible Club in the summer as well, and it's just really good when it's like sleepy. It's like, oh, just do the Lord's Prayer. But it makes so much sense because there's so much like packed in there, so you can just be like, Father, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as in heaven. There's so much in there that's kind of like the starting place. Or Ian talked about being like the like ignition switch, or what was the? It was like something to do with like dynamite. It was like the
ignition.
start, the
Spark?
the
Catalyst.
It's like articulate all over.
I think it's just a P. The piston. No, the piston. The primer,
Oh, I
which is
wouldn't
like
have got that.
old fashioned like gun. It's like what you do to like spark it with like gunpowder. Sorry, primer. Ignition was. I should have just stopped at ignition because everyone knew what I thought was ignition.
But you want to
But
get
it's
that
like
word.
that's like the starting place to, and then you can just go from there. Yeah, I do pray at night. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not giving myself enough credit. I do the bedtime night sleep, night prayer.
But I think back to what you're saying, I think community. I think it's you, because even just doing this, like I feel like hearing what other people's time with God is, and then or even you kind of get inspired, or as you say, like with friends and stuff like that, sharing. Because I always feel like when your friend like asks you like oh, how you do, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling really like, oh, usually it's with some of my friends, like the ones that know Jesus, like, can I pray for you, or you know what I mean, and then you kind of almost, that's another moment, right, of finding rest with God. So I think it's huge what you're saying, like with people, and I don't think we're made to do it alone, I guess.
I don't think we're either. No.
I couldn't do all that. It sounds horrible ever. I hate alone. I hate even being like a couple of hours. I'm like done.
Same. I'm like 100% extrovert.
This is good. We're still meeting for coffee on Sunday.
Yes.
I thought we still meet up for work, right?
You mocking me.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
No, I totally notice if I say, for example, like go to church Sunday, don't have a small group during the week, and then even if I go to church the next Sunday, I'm like, oh yeah, church happened last Sunday. What happened during the week? Nothing. I need like a good midpoint to be like, remember?
That's good. I like that.
I think it would be good, like, I guess like having this discussion and like looking forward the fact that we've got like this like September ablaze like church thing, which is kind of
Remember that was mentioned earlier this year. September
Yeah.
Blaze.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like
it's not September.
in like September we're like pushing into like what the Holy Spirit wants to do for Westhill Community Church and stuff, and there's gonna be like, I've had like a look at the like draft like schedule, and there's stuff on like every single day for like finding that rest, finding that time. So I think that's something that for me, whether or not I manage to find a job in the interim, and that I'm really looking forward to being able to like having that time to like engage and rest with God and kind of like get reignited or re-primered or re-ignitioned I think that would be really cool. September ablaze. Darren made the logo.
It's gonna be good.
September ablaze.
Ian had a second, like, he's feeling like Facebook videos. He's like,
Yeah,
so
they're
next.
awesome.
I can't do his accent.
Never
though.
saw it today. But
What is it?
It's quite short. He was talking about the gathering place, which I don't know if we'll be part of. It's like the house groups that meet on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They're like grouping together.
Is it for worship?
Yeah, so there's like worship, and then Ian speaks for a little bit, have some questions, and some more worship.
Okay, so there's more worship.
But I'm sure I'll be
could
made
bring our
clear.
counters one day.
Bring
one
our
of
counters. Okay, everyone, it's second death
What's
tonight.
that big one? I know you want.
Second death.
I think that'd be pretty good.
I feel like I think
Maybe,
Steve
suggest
Townsend would
that
know
to
that.
Whoa.
The wise. Have you seen Steve Townsend? He's got the one with the white beard.
To speak plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he
That's
call
a
me
s-
up on Sunday?
Did he?
No, Dan texted me saying Steve called you up and you weren't there. He's
That's
sad.
a big mention right there.
He's
If you get a
calling
call.
Jenny, he's sad. I'm like,
Did he?
It might be
I
in
don't-
relation to the golf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he was just winding me up.
No, but the golf would have been the day before.
No,
Day
that was the
before.
week before. It was like Sunday just passed.
Okay.
It was.
I think he was just winding
We
me up.
were.
No,
We were on
Pirates.
Cool.
It's good, guys. I feel like
I mean, that's like
I was like
8:30, which is when we normally finish.
half 7 to half 8 hour.
If it's Charles, we sometimes lead on. What?
Do we want another week? No.
I would say keep them because I feel like it's quite nice being like
For the weeks that we don't.
you know like actually just I actually liked how we just stuck in that one because it was good hearing from everyone.
We want everyone to go home and have some nice rest. But
I know, I'm so in the mood for it.
And I
now.
need to have dinner because I'm like keep eating the cookies. And I need to have, like, proper-
Grant, do you want to pray and finish up?
Of course.
Seal it in.
Seal it.
Yeah.